The AFC is going to be fascinating. We went into this year thinking Chiefs, Bills, Ravens. Yeah. Only teams that matter. Didn't do any of them. 2 of them missed the playoffs. 1 of them might as well have missed the playoffs. Like, you're going into next year, you're going to have a conference of like 10 different teams that pick to go to the Super Bowl. Who the hell knows? I don't know. You know, it's fascinating. You can't win a Super Bowl if your quarterback is terrible. It happens.
Yeah.
It's extraordinarily rare.
We won 2 Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill. Yeah, you know, it'd be a lot easier having Tyreek Hill on the goddamn offense.
2 things can be true at the same time. The Chiefs are a really good team. The Raiders are an absolute disaster.
It's that football show here on KC Sports Over Tucker Franklin, hanging out with Matt Verderame on your Monday edition after Championship Sunday. Thank you to our partners, Ben Holiday, Bald and Bond Berber, for keeping us, holding us down during this frigid cold spell here through the Midwest and ice storm all around. Hopefully you are staying warm wherever you are, and hopefully we are getting your Monday morning started on the right foot. Matt, how you doing?
Better than the Broncos and Rams, who are we're home for the winter. The Rams give pretty damn good. That was a really good game.
It was a great game.
Seattle found a way. The Broncos and Pats, that was not a great game. And New England won in what became really a snow globe out in Mile High. It's second half of the game. The line for the Super Bowl is Seattle by 4.5, and I got to tell you,
yeah,
I'm not telling anybody to go out and gamble their hard-earned money.
True.
If I was a betting man, that line seems low based on what I've watched in the playoffs. Seattle has annihilated the 49ers, and then didn't annihilate the Rams, but beat a really good Rams team and looked very good doing it. The Patriots have looked like someone staggering out of a bar hammered at like 2:30 in the morning and just trying to like find their way to like an Uber, hopefully an Uber, not their own car. It has not been, now defensively they've played very well to their credit, but offensively, my God, man. I mean, they can't do anything on offense. And defensively, I kind of wonder how much of that is like who they've played.
Sure.
Comparatively to how good they are defensively, although I think they are good defensively. I don't know if they're great. Seattle is going to be quite a test compared to what they've been playing. It's like, you know, those like little high schools that play in their tiny little like Class D, Section 9.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, we're pretty good. And then they play like some school from the city and just get absolutely rocked like 56-10. Oh, right. Yeah, right. I forgot there's a whole nother class of team.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of what Super Bowl 60 might be, but we're going to find out.
We certainly will. And to stick with your analogy of the Patriots about a drunk guy, you know when you have that buddy who, when he drinks on the golf course and like all of a sudden he just starts hitting like the luckiest shots of all time, you're just like, wait, how did you just stick it from, 200 out, stick it within 5 feet? Like, how did that happen? That kind of feels like the Patriots a little bit. You just get kind of some dumb luck when you get drunk sometimes and you do athletic events. It's just like, wow, you probably should have busted your head open, but you did land that backflip. So, like, I don't know how you did that, but you did it. That kind of feels like the Patriots a little bit in some regard, as you mentioned. That did technically qualify as a football game. And the Patriots are moving on to the Super Bowl. It is very funny to kind of see everybody realize that they wanted the Chiefs to go down, only for the Patriots to be the team coming out of the AFC to go represent the AFC for the Super Bowl. But let's start with the game that was actually fun.
Sure.
And let's talk about that a little bit, about the Seahawks. And man, they look like the best team in the NFL. In the playoff games they've had, I understand they were the number 1 seed coming out of the NFC, but in the 2 games they've played, both against their division foes, interesting enough, they looked really good against some teams with some familiarity against them. And as of late, the Seahawks have kind of dominated the 49ers. And I think the one game this year Sam Darnold didn't really play good was against the Rams in LA, and they only lost by 2, if I remember correctly.
119.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the only time Sam Darnold's played bad, and honestly, full credit to Sam Darnold and what they've done on offense there, because he's proven me wrong. I didn't think that Sam Darnold would be like a huge upgrade over Geno Smith. Now, I wasn't necessarily like a Geno Smith truther anyway. Like, I thought it was kind of crazy that they were trading, like the Raiders were trading for Geno Smith, but
there are people bringing up tweets right now like from that day when that trade happened, and large personalities tweeting out what an awful move that was by Seattle. People just get dragged all over Twitter. You hate to see
Good.
it.
You should.
Yeah, absolutely.
Accountability. Well, this is an accountability podcast.
It's been we're big on accountability here at That Football Show. People will own their takes. But no, listen, I mean, my big takeaway from all this is that adjusted for Jets is staggeringly strong at this point.
The movement could not be stronger.
Like, it came about as just a complete turn of phrase. I just threw a line out there.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, Sam Darnold is proving just how big adjusted for Jets needs to be. Like, it begs the question, is Robert Saleh about to lead the Titans to glory?
I think that's a great question.
Because Sam Darnold sucked on the Jets, man. Like, it wasn't like you looked at him and went, he's all right. He was awful.
Horrible. Seeing ghosts. He was seeing ghosts.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sam Darnold was on the Jets for 3 years. He went 13-25, completed 59.8% of his passes, 45 touchdowns, 39 picks. Okay. He was horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. His highest QBR was 45.9. Like, the man was brutal in every sense of the word. And then goes to Carolina. We don't have enough time to adjust for Panthers. Okay.
True. Yeah.
He becomes, bounces around, becomes back up with the Niners. And I remember talking. So I went up to Minnesota last year for a piece I did on the Vikings in December. And so at that point, obviously, they were very good. And he was having a great year. And I talked to some people in the building. One of the common themes was the reason they were so interested in signing him was they knew the kind of coaching he got with the Niners and Kyle Shanahan. And they felt like this guy is going to be completely remade. And I was literally told by some people in that building, like, we don't hold against him what happened with the Jets. It's the Jets. Like, they were just like adamant about the fact that, like, it doesn't matter. Everybody stinks with the Jets because of who they are. And that the Niners were able to kind of rebuild him and revamp him. And listen, Kevin O'Connell is a McVay guy, but McVay and Shanahan are really good friends. So there's like a kind of a cross-contamination, cross-connection there, whatever you want to call it. And so they signed him really thinking highly of him. And I got to tell you, I bet Minnesota would like to sign him back right now based on what they saw from J.J. McCarthy, because woof. Man. That's a whole nother conversation. So then he goes to Seattle, who, of course, look, they know Shanahan from being in the division with him and everything else. And then they know O'Connell because he was in the, it's all this, like, NFL, like, inbreeding, right? They all know each other so damn well.
Yes. Goes
to Seattle after they trade away Geno Smith. Geno Smith ends up on an interception counter. Wins going away. Just to
say, yeah, he won.
Yeah, well done by him.
Well served.
And so really made sure he was going to win something. And so, look, Darnold does a great year. And it also begs the question, if the Chiefs sign Breece Hall, does he rush for 3,000 yards next season?
I think you have to ask that question at this point.
At a bare minimum, we know he's the best running back on earth because he rushed for 1,000 yards with that team. So if you take 1,000 yards and adjust for Jets, I mean, 1,000 yards, AFJ, at minimum comes out 2,500 yards. It's like a 250% bump. So it's where we are. It's where we are. But hey, look, Darnold's a great story. You're going to hear all about it, of course, next 2 weeks.
Yep.
You're going to hear all about Drake May and how he's just up and coming star, although I would like to see him play a hell of a lot better than he's played this month. But hey, listen, it sets up for an interesting game. But Seattle, great drafting the last handful of years.
Yep.
Great signings, great trades, like a Shaheed. By the way, Shaheed, my God, the Chiefs should go after that guy all day long.
He's incredible. Yeah.
He's one of those guys, too, man. It's not going to cost a fortune because he doesn't have like 1,000-yard seasons or anything, but he's a great returner. He's really good in space. You can line him up all over the formation offensively. That guy, if Andy gets back to being creative, like that guy is Andy Reid Nirvana. Just everywhere. It's all over the field.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think Seattle, in a year where it feels like there's no great team, Seattle's probably the closest thing we have to it.
Yeah, they're pretty strong. I think they're a very strong team, and I think they've proven that in their playoff games and kind of down the stretch. What my favorite Sam Darnold stat is Sam Darnold becomes the first starting quarterback from the stacked 2018 draft class to reach the Super Bowl. The quarterbacks in that draft, Sam Darnold obviously was drafted by the Jets. I think it's been 8 years and 5 teams, right, for Sam Darnold before he's gotten to the Super Bowl. Crazy in that regard. Baker Mayfield is in that 2018 draft class. He has not made a Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson has not made it. And you might also know that Josh Allen, the best player in the world, was also in that draft class, and he has yet to make a Super Bowl. So Sam Darnold reaching the Super Bowl before him. Also, another very fun stat. Two receivers that Josh Allen used to have on his football team that he didn't have any help. Remember when he didn't have any help? Yep. Mac Hollins and Stephon Diggs.
Both in the Super Bowl.
Both are in the Super Bowl now with Drake May and not with Josh Allen. So
I think the moral of that story is Drake May apparently doesn't need the amount of help Josh Allen needs.
That's very true.
Yep.
It's very funny too when you talk about that. And speaking of the not talking about help, we had the finalists announced for MVP and all those
all the big awards,
offseason awards. I loved watching Bills fans be upset that James Cook wasn't on
after there was an all-you-could-eat character assassination for 4 solid months out of Buffalo because they had to prop up the fact that Allen has no talent around him. Yeah, it's good.
Correct. Yeah. No, they're like, well, he doesn't have anybody good, but then they're like, how come Hawkeye's not up for Offensive Player of the Year? What?
So let me tell you why. The daily think piece on Twitter about how James Cook is basically just like Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
One of the biggest problems on Twitter is them bumping up the character limit. I'll stand by that.
It's fair. People need to learn how to have concise thoughts.
Yeah.
No, look, we were throwing off there. I mean, this is a catastrophic development for the AFC and specifically the Bills because you went from 20 years of New England just crapping all over everybody to then the Patriots basically handing off the baton to the Chiefs on like a 4x1 relay. Just being like, here you go. And then the Chiefs just dominating the entire league and specifically the AFC for 7 straight years. And then the Chiefs trip and fall flat on their faces. And guess who gets the baton? It's like, oh, New England's back. And just goes right back to the Super Bowl. So like we were discussing this. Other than the one year the Bengals staggered into the Super Bowl and then summarily got beat, the Patriots and the Chiefs are the only 2 teams in the AFC to represent the conference since Super Bowl 50. We're now at Super Bowl 60.
Yeah, right.
And then also the Chiefs and the Patriots have been in every AFC title game starting with the 2011 season since. So 15 in a row now.
Yeah.
Just trucking. Every single one of them has involved one of those 2 teams. It's not great if you're everybody else, but the reason I said it's especially bad for Buffalo is like Buffalo's obviously in New England's division and just got smoked twice a year by him. And then finally crawled out of the smoldering crater that is the AFC East. And they're like, all right, we've got a shot now. And then just the Chiefs just buried them one year after the next in the playoffs. And then the Chiefs didn't get there. And then the Patriots just won the division, made them go on the road.
Yeah.
And they got Bo Nix and the Broncos and just lost to them. Yeah. So and now you don't have a coach. Like now you're like interviewing Phillip Rivers and Screech from Saved by the Bell and Danny Bonaducci. And I'll let you figure out which 2 of those guys aren't actually being interviewed by the Bills. It might actually take you a minute. So it's I don't know what's happening with the Bills.
Yeah.
It's like of all the teams in the AFC, you're like, yeah, this is a problem in the AFC. Like they have to be the ones that are the most down bad by this entire development.
It is very funny that the Bills keep doing the wildest shit after we record a podcast. And so I can't only imagine what's going to happen on Monday. Right?
Oh, it's going to be unbelievable.
And like, because we keep recording.
She actually will be interviewed by the Bills.
We keep recording.
God, only one of them hasn't been interviewed.
A week ago, we recorded this podcast. It was like, 3 a.m. when we recorded that podcast? And then less than 5 hours later, they fired Sean McDermott. After we talked about it, we're like, well, we feel like it's kind of okay. Then they fire him. Then they have the wildest press conference ever just before we record. And then Friday, we release the podcast, and it is Friday morning. I think, I was on the sidelines at the East West Shrine Bowl practice when they announced that they were interviewing Phillip Rivers. And I was like, am I being punked? Like, I thought that was a fake tweet, truthfully.
I checked to make sure it was a real tweet before I said anything. which is always a bad sign. Like it's like when Luka Doncic got traded, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. I know this is Shams because I have Shams notifications on, and I wouldn't get notified by a fake Shams account. Like, it was the same thing with Schefter, right? It's like, I wouldn't get notified by a fake Schefter account, but this doesn't seem right.
Yeah. Did he wonder like they got hacked or something? Yeah.
Right.
What a train wreck. Look, it is what it is. I also, by the way, I don't have to go into this, but I appreciate that Mike McDaniel, like it was put out that he accepted the Chargers OC position, and then like a day later was interviewing for other jobs.
Yeah.
Like,
is that?
I thought about that. He's like, actually, I watched Justin Herbert in the playoffs, and I'm still open and available for a job. How
does that work, though? Do they then have to request from the Chargers to interview him?
I don't think he ever officially signed the contract.
But the Chargers social team was like, yeah, welcome in.
I know.
That's crazy, dude.
And then a day later, Jesse Minter was like, all right, bye.
Yeah, that was really fun when like the paper champions got some more paper, and then it was like, all right, wow, that team's going to look really, really big. And then they were just like, I don't even know if they've named a defensive coordinator yet. I haven't really looked, but.
No, they have not. By the way, speaking of defensive coordinators, Jeff Hafley going for the Packers to the Dolphins. I appreciate that Stephen Ross, who's 85 years old, in the presser, had no idea of the names of his head coach or his general manager.
Yeah.
Just none. You could have given Stephen Ross 30 minutes to figure it out, and it wasn't happening. He was just like, so, here are these guys. Ask away. Like, geez, yeah, and like, listen, I'm not going to get on the 85-year-old guy for not being able to remember names. Like, okay, fair enough. Here's a thought. Maybe turn it over to somebody who's not 85 years old.
Yeah.
It's like I'll shout out to my dad on this one because he says this all the time, but it's so true. It's like when they do the war rooms on draft night, and they're showing like different war rooms and like all these teams, like the smart teams, whether it's like Seattle or Philly or, Kansas City before this year. Like they show them and it's the GM, it's the owner, but like the owner is usually like in the corner and it's like, 5 or 6 like coaches / top level personnel people. And like, that's it. Right. And then they show Dallas and like Jerry's at like the table of
the head of the table.
Yeah. Like his king chair. And Steven's just a court jester. And then like the coach is like off to the corner with like a ham and cheese sandwich. And then like they pick whoever the fuck it is. And everybody just starts like golf clapping. Oh, Jerry. It looks like North Korea. Like, yeah. And, they're all just like trying to make sure they don't get nuked to death because, somebody wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's a real well-run organization, And so it's like, hey, Jerry, listen, you're 80-something. How about letting somebody else do this?
Right.
And I felt the same way about Stephen Ross. Like, you don't have to sell the team, but Steve, like name an acting CEO or something, buddy. Like, holy crap, man. Like, it's okay. You can relinquish like that much power. No one's going to judge you.
It's like, it's moments like that. And not really the Biscotti press conference, because I thought the Biscotti press conference was way funnier than what the Bills press conference was. It's so funny.
Here, if we had won that game, yeah, for a week.
It's so funny. God. So some people were saying that one was worse than the Bills, and I disagree. I don't think it was even close.
No,
it's like you talk about the Bills too. Like this, like that's a glimpse into the fans. I think. I want to be careful how I say this. I think sometimes the fans might care a little bit more than what these owners care, because sometimes when you look at this and like these press conferences, when these owners speak, it's like, oh, this is just a thing that you have. Like, this is just like your fun thing that you do. And you get to have a football team. In some cases, I think that's the truth in some regards. Like, this is just a billionaire's playground, basically. I think sometimes that comes out, and other times, obviously, I think there really are, more times than not, I think there are a lot of owners that very much care about their football team and about everything that's going on. But I will say, very hilarious with Jeff Hafley. The Packers did name Jonathan Gannon as their defensive coordinator in backfilling that position, which I think that's a really good hire. I think Jonathan Gannon probably is a really good defensive coordinator and just not a really good head coach. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, as this movement spreads, adjusted for Cardinals, we don't know yet.
Yeah, that's true. We don't have the metrics on adjusted for Cardinals. We might need adjusted for Titans, though, because Mike Vrabel, is that his name?
Yes.
That I've said it and that didn't sound right for some reason. That's weird. Vrabel did not make a Super Bowl with the Titans and had a pretty decent team that one year. They were the 1 seed, and
then they went to the AFC title game against the Chiefs.
Yep, and then they are going to the Super Bowl now with Drake May and the Pats in his first year there. Yeah, this is his first year there.
Yep. He's took over for Gerard Mayo, one and done.
Yeah, that situation. that situation is interesting. Who do you think the Chiefs' Gerard Mayo will be?
Who goes one and done?
Yeah, like like when Andy leaves and like he's like, this is the guy who's next, and then they go one and done, and then they go to somebody else. I
got to tell you, strong money was on Matt Nagy.
A lot of money was on Matt Nagy.
Strongest of money with Matt Nagy.
I don't know if he'd come back for that now.
I was going to say, but hey, now's your time to shine. How do you feel about like Joe Blameyer?
It might be someone sleepy like that, It might be like a sleepy move of just like
somebody who, because like Bieniemy's going to know too. Like Bieniemy's going to have enough sense to be, yeah, I'm not going to be the fall guy for this,
right? Yeah.
Like when Andy and Pat retire, and it's like some head coaching vacancy with a quarterback like Josh Rosen, and you're like, I don't know.
It has to be some like David Girardi, the quarterback's coach. I think they were probably fully planning up.
Back.
Yeah,
like the Romeo Crennel redemption tour.
They get who was the wide receivers coach in 2014?
David Culley.
They get David Culley to come fall on the sword like the Texans did.
Oh my gosh, guy was head coach, man. I really did. You know what? It's interesting though.
They might have signed him to a 5-year deal, the Texans, and they said 1 year.
I'll get paid.
Yeah, he might still be. Maybe that's why David Cole is not out here anywhere. So
I'm good. Getting paid. 10 highest paid coach in the league.
Him and John Gruden are on the same page.
I was going to say him and the Raiders. They could have like a football team of their own.
Yeah.
Listen, it's
wow.
It's by the way, Clint Kubiak seems to be the hot name with the Raiders.
That does see. I did just see something about Davis Webb is going to interview with them after losing. He's quarterback coach for the Broncos. You probably know Davis Webb, obviously, is a quarterback, but yeah.
Why is Davis Webb a hot name?
Well, he's coached a really good quarterback, right, Matt? He's a quarterback coach for a really good quarterback.
Davis Webb was a lousy quarterback, and then went and coached a lousy wquarterback, and now everybody's like, hey, we need him. Why? So I always get doing what we do for a living. My antennas start going off like crazy when somebody who has no real resume, it just starts like all these different insiders are like this guy, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get why, because this guy is really chummy with a bunch of the top insiders. Which, by the way, smart move if you're a coach.
Great,
man, you want job security? Become really tight with all these guys at the top of the food chain. Yeah, sure, you can be my friend, but I'm not helping you as much as half of these guys up top. The reality is, dude, those guys, Davis, I would bet any amount of money that Davis Webb just responds to every text within 20 minutes from the top 8 insiders in the league.
Well, Jordan Schultz made a tweet a little bit ago about Davis Webb, so I think that'll give you a little bit of point. Yeah.
That's what I'm there's no reason on God's green earth that Davis Webb should be getting massive acclaim as a head coaching candidate. Here's his entire resume. Okay. After being terrible in the NFL for 6 years, he went and became the quarterback's coach of the Broncos in 2023 and 2024. And now he's the pass game coordinator. Has anyone seen Denver throwing the ball this year? And also, Sean Payton runs the offense.
That's it?
Explain to me? That's all he's ever done. He's 31 years old. Can anyone explain to me why Davis Webb is this hotshot coaching candidate? And listen, nothing against the guy personally. I know it sounds like I probably have an axe to grind against him. I honestly don't. I've never met the man. But he's 31. He's been the assistant coach for 3 years on the side of a ball that he's not in any way, shape, or form in charge of because Sean Payton is running the offense in Denver. The offense also has sucked. I don't know if you should see that, but their offense stinks. Why? What has Davis Webb done that is garnering all these different hey, got to get this guy out there, got to get him. I feel like Davis Webb has played the game wisely and is talking to every single major transactional guy. And it's just like, hey, I'd love to be a head coach. I'd love to be a head coach. I'd love to be a head coach. And all these people know if he becomes a head coach, I'm good because I've got a really good relationship with the building all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Just saying, because there is not a soul alive who's like, damn, 2023 to 25 Broncos, love the way they throw the ball. Love it. That person needs a lobotomy. Like, there's no one alive who's watching that team and thinking to themselves, man, if only we had their passing game, we would have gone further this year. Well, maybe the Bills, based on what happened. But, like, nobody else feels that way, which is actually funny because Davis Webb interviewed for that job.
Yes, he did.
So keep that all in mind.
The expectation is that the Bills will reach out to Denver about interviewing pass game coordinator Davis Webb. That was from Jordan Schultz earlier tonight. And Webb is also considered a strong candidate in Las Vegas. As you mentioned, one of the Kubiaks, whatever his name is a strong, Clint is a strong contender for that job. And he should probably, if the Raiders were smart, they would hire him. But, and a large but there, we're talking about the Raiders. I saw also this tweet from Jordan Schultz talking about the Seahawks a little bit. John Schneider's the first GM in NFL history to reach multiple Super Bowls with the same organization while having a new head coach and no players from the previous Super Bowl team.
Yeah, it's probably true. Yeah.
That's wildly impressive.
Actually, so not to pat me on, but I put in my good, bad, and ugly column at SI I do every week, my lead good was John Schneider and how he's basically built two Super Bowl teams, like just completely independent of each other, as if the only other active GMs in the league who can claim that they built two teams that went to the Super Bowl, that at least won one title, that you could be like, those two teams are pretty different, are Howie Roseman and Brett Veach. Because the first Chiefs team was wildly different than the second and third teams.
Yeah.
Right? Like, a lot of turnover. Roseman, I mean, hell, they won two Super Bowls completely independent of each other. You can even argue just him and Schneider if you really want to get technical. But, yeah, it's pretty hard to do. Like, John Schneider, give him a lot of credit. And he was getting crapped all over when they traded Geno Smith away and DK Metcalf away. How's that looking right about now?
Yeah.
Geno Smith sucked. And DK Metcalf was punching a fan. So that's how that went.
That must be something in the water in Pittsburgh, I think.
Man, I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah. Speaking of Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Speaking of want to punch something.
Mike McCarthy? Really, Matt? Mike McCarthy. Did they really see, like, oh, where's this guy from? And they saw it was Pittsburgh, and they said, all right, fine, we'll hire him. That is maybe the most ridiculous hire that is going to happen this cycle.
How old is he?
It's like 60 something.
I'll filibuster here, but he's got to be late 50s, early 60s. And listen, like, I know he won a Super Bowl. I know, like, and this is the other part of it. This shit always drives me nuts too. Whenever these teams are like either A, well, so and so played for them, which is what happened with Davis Webb. He played
62.
3 years in Buffalo. Okay, 62. Like, Davis Webb played 3 years in Buffalo, and I keep seeing this. Like, well, he played. Who gives a shit? Like, why does that matter? How the hell does that factor in? Like, like, I don't want some guy like, hey, Stanford Rout played for the Chiefs. Great. I don't want him as the head coach of the team.
Yeah,
that's great. Right. And then like the Dable thing in Buffalo, it's like, well, he's from Western New York. I don't give a shit if he's from Mars. Like, can he coach? Like, I don't care that he's from Western New York. And it's the same thing that happens with McCarthy. It's always like, well, his dad was a Steelers fan. He grew up in Pittsburgh. So, great.
Cool.
Great. Fantastic. Congratulations. I don't care. Can you win games? Now, I will say this about McCarthy, to be fair to him. He's won a lot of football games.
Yes, that's true.
The flip side of that is a lot of years in Green Bay, you always felt like they should have done more than they did.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, they won the one Super Bowl, and hey, credit's due. He won a Super Bowl. Not a lot of people in the NFL's annals can say that. But he had, like, prime Aaron Rodgers on a pretty loaded team a lot of those years. And you always walked away from it outside of 1 year saying, man, could have done more than that.
Yep.
Never did. Then he went to Dallas, and like, they won games in the regular season. They always sucked in the playoffs.
Yep.
And he had pretty talented teams there too.
Mm-hmm.
And now you go to Pittsburgh, it's like, like
it's not inspiring.
It's not inspiring. And here's the other thing that you may or may not know. So I'm enough of a nerd to know. In the history of the NFL, and it's going to stand no matter who wins the Super Bowl this year, no coach has ever won a Super Bowl with two different franchises. So, like, I know maybe you're not going to not hire a guy based off that. It has never happened.
Yeah.
There have been guys who have gotten there with multiple teams.
Sure, yeah.
Nobody's ever won a Super Bowl with two different teams. So, you know, it's like, I feel like sometimes these teams, they just look at a guy like McCarthy and go, oh, it's a safe route.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Does that help you? Which, ironically, too, by the way, Pittsburgh, Noel, Cowher, Tomlin, all first-time head coaches.
Yeah.
And then you went with a retread. I think McCarthy would have been good, to be fair to him, in like Cleveland, where they need an adult in the room in the worst possible way. You know. By the way, apparently no one will take that job. I
think that's hilarious. People are just like, I'm good.
We're about 3 days away from like me pulling out of consideration for that.
Did you see that? Like they're asking them to take tests. Like they're asking them for like personality tests and everything. I don't know what the validity of that report was, but it's just like, come on, guys, let's not.
From NFL networks, it's probably somewhat. I mean,
fair,
dude. That's only the fucking Browns.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, like well, maybe the Jets, but like, hey, like, listen, we're in dire need of a coach. Can you sit down and think it? Like, how many apples are in this bushel? Like, just, oh my God, who cares? Can you coach a football team?
Yeah.
Like, it's
taking a Wonderlick.
Like, what are we doing here? That's another thing. I always love that, right? When you go to like the combine and you get these like, hey, this guy scored really well in the one. That's great. Can he run? Because like I don't give a shit. I'm not hiring him to run Goldman Sachs. Like,
how does he play football?
Can he play the sport that you're hiring him to play?
Right. Yeah.
Oh my God! Like these teams, they worry about all this shit that doesn't matter. Like, I love like when they do the 40 times for an offensive lineman, and like, hey, this guy was cooking. It's like, you plan on handing off tackle to him?
Yeah,
like
they could just skip that. Yeah,
like, just do his 10-yard shuttle. Okay, there's his explosiveness. Awesome, great, keep it moving. Like, you know, or like when the quarterbacks run 40s, as if the guy's just gonna like go around end and run a straight line. You know, like it's just. The NFL, for as advanced and technologically savvy in some ways as it is also like the dumbest sport on earth half the time.
Yeah,
and
right.
The Browns are the epitome of that. Like, hey, we could worry about if this guy could coach a football team, or we could ask him a math problem.
Mm-hmm.
Great. But yeah, McCarthy in Pittsburgh, uninspiring. I like the Stefanski hire in Atlanta.
That's an interesting one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like it for Atlanta. I don't love it for him because I don't love that Penix has like 19 torn ACLs in his career. But I like
43. But yeah,
I actually think I think Harbaugh might actually be a really good fit with the Giants. But again, no guy's ever won 2 Super Bowls with different organizations, so he'd be fucking history. And then I just love that like some of these teams just can't get a coach. The Browns,
the Cardinals have like no clue. Like no one has any clue what the Cardinals are doing. They're just like, I don't know. Like, what's the Cardinals like? The fans Joseph? I don't know. Like that also so uninspiring. If I'm the Cardinals fan out there, it's so uninspiring. Yeah, so uninspiring. But Matt, you brought something up to me I think is interesting. You got to take a break first, but I want to kind of tee up the conversation, right? I'm going to be a professional about this, professional podcast here, and tee up the conversation before our break. You look around the AFC, and there's the Patriots back in the Super Bowl. The Bills are going to need a new head coach. The Ravens have a new head coach, Jesse Minter being the head coach over there in Baltimore. You're going to have new head coaches all around. The Raiders are going to have one. And if that matters,
maybe eventually. I mean, they're already paying like 6.
Yeah, maybe one of those guys can come back and coach for him. Josh McDaniels is he's kind of tied up right now, but maybe he can come back. There's going to be a different looking landscape of the AFC, and I think we should talk about what that looks like next. We'll have plenty of time to talk about this Super Bowl, but let's take our break here. Let's take our break, and we'll talk about what this AFC is going to look like in 2026 and beyond. Chiefs.
I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network. Emprise Bank has been with us from the beginning. They were our first network partner, and they believed in the vision of what we were building from the start. I can't speak to any other banks or companies and how they operate, but I can tell you from personal experience and based on the growth of the network you're listening to right now, that if you have banking needs, call our friends at Emprise Bank. We've worked with so many great people there over the years, from Vicky and Aggie to Andrea, Lori, Jackie, Deb, and Aaron, and not to mention so many others that not just supported KC Sports Network, but supported our KCSN Foundation as well. But the best thing that I know is that if I have a question or a problem, no matter how dumb the question is, I know who I'm going to call and who I'm going to talk to. And I know that I'm getting an answer from someone that I can trust. And I know that person is there to help us. That's why Emprise Bank has always been and continues to be our partner in Possible. And they can be yours too. You just have to reach out. If you have a banking need, whether it's business or personal, hit me up. I will connect you directly with the same people that have helped us build KCSN. And that's our friends at Emprise Bank.
Super Bowl 60 deserves a sportsbook built for the moment, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60, puts you right in the center of the biggest game of the year. And when anything can happen during the Super Bowl, DraftKings has your back with early exit. If a player goes down in the first half, you still get paid out in cash immediately once your bet settles. No bonus bets, no waiting. We got a great Super Bowl lined up. Patriots, Seahawks, lots of storylines, a big rematch from Super Bowl 49. Anything can go down. A lot is on the table, and you need to be locked into DraftKings. If you're new to DraftKings, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's right. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. As I mentioned before the break, Matt, two AFC teams still looking for head coaches. That's the Raiders and the Bills, obviously, and the Browns, actually. So three. Sorry. I forgot that the Browns existed in the AFC for a little bit.
It's the only way to press on.
I think head coaches have forgotten that the Browns exist as well.
We're about to get a 45-minute segment on Monday morning on Get Up about where the Browns and their head coaching search. We're going to get some thoughts from Rex Ryan at 3:38 a.m.
I've got to get up early tomorrow. And I might, just for scientific purposes, throw on Get Up to see what they're talking about. just to see. But as I teed up before the break, there's going to be a lot of new head coaches, going to be a lot of new coordinators. The Chiefs have a new offensive coordinator. There's going to be a lot of new look teams around the AFC. Where do you think this goes? What do you think the AFC in 2026 looks like? Do you think it's set up nicely for the Chiefs? How do you think this whole thing looks?
I'm going to get to that in a minute, but I can't stop thinking about like the technical side of Get Up.
Okay. All right. No, that's good.
I have you ever worked in like a studio at all, like college, high school, anything like that?
Yeah.
Like,
in college. Yeah.
Okay. So like same. And when you start to prepare to do the show, you have to do like a white balance for the camera.
Yeah. Hold up the.
How long does it take to white balance Ryan Clark's brooch? Does it take like an hour just based on the sheer size and like the shininess coming off the metallic brooch?
Right. Yeah.
It's like,
that camera has
going live in 10 seconds for the love of God, like a smaller brooch pin. Like, no. It gets bigger every show. It's like one of those things on Twitter where they're like with 100 likes, like I'll make like this picture bigger and bigger. And it eventually is just absurdly large. Like I feel like that show's got to just be incredible. Like 5:50 in the morning as they're getting ready to go live.
I just Googled Ryan Clark's brooch just so I could look at it again. It is.
it really is a dominating feature of the show. I'm not even saying, like, I don't even dislike it. It's just so gaudy that you can't, like, you can't move on from it without noting it.
I do love that one of the brooches that he does wear is just his initials.
Yes.
Like, that is so, that's just like, this is me. This is me. It's how you know that this is me.
Didn't know this was Ryan Clark. It's like I had like 2 or 3 buddies in college. It was like a big thing to do at the time. They tattooed like their last names and like Roman font like on their arm. And I was like, and they're like, oh, like that like a family crest.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Everybody knows what your fucking last name is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you do you forget it sometimes and have to look down? Oh, hey, like it's right. Like
It's true.
I mean, listen, I don't give a shit if that's your last name on your. No, I just like to make fun of him for it. But like, the point being that I don't know. It just got me thinking, because I was thinking about like what it must be like to produce that show that early in the morning with that cast of characters. And then like, you're like finally ready. And then you're like, hold on, we got to white balance the brooch.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and then like he turns like a quarter turn. They're like, oh, I threw it off again. Like,
what if you're trying to white balance a brooch and then you just hear Rex Ryan just mumble something about feet, you know? It's just like, like, Rex, it is 3 a.m, buddy. Like,
we have no time for that.
Can't address that right now.
Greenberg was at his eighth Red Bull. We gotta hit this, hit it hard.
He's just asking Greedy. He's asking Greedy about like, have you ever thought about feet? Did he ever thought about drinking it and try?
Rex, for the love of God, we're live. Oh, what the hell, Josh Allen?
Scepter's on 7 different phones.
Yeah, it's just like there's a carton of cigarettes hanging out of his mouth, seeing a prairie fire, you know. Just, go to Adam.
I will tweet out
if I get camera 3 on him. Just,
if I do turn on Get Up, it's not likely, but if I do, I will tweet it out and say for scientific purposes, because I got to figure out
your running commentary, like your live thoughts as they're going through the show.
I got to figure out what's going on there. I got to figure out how the other half lives, you know?
Listen, we don't have to, we covered a lot of this ground last show, but
True, yeah.
I got a lot of comments on that section of the show, and I'm glad people enjoyed it. Anywho, let's go back to real football. The AFC. Listen, I think that the Chiefs. Look, here's the genuine good news, at least in my eyes, about the AFC. I don't think any of these teams are positioned in a way that going into 2026, you can look at them and you'd say, wow, that team, like, they are just clearly out in front of the Chiefs in a way take the Chiefs a long time to make up that ground.
Yeah.
Like, at the risk of saying the most obvious possible thing, but I think it has to be said because it's kind of like ground zero of this argument. They have Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
So, like, they're always right there. Like, they're always in a position where if they just do decently smart things in March and April, they don't have to be as good as these other teams, right? Their margin of error is massive.
Right.
Compared, like, if any other team had rolled out that 2025 offense, or excuse me, the 2024 offense, like, they're like 6-11 again, right? But like, that team went to the Super Bowl because of Mahomes. They've got a handful of other guys. I think 2025 was the embodiment of when everything goes wrong. This is like the absolute basement of what this team can possibly be.
Yeah.
I have a hard time imagining that they're not going to be significantly better next year. First of all, they say whatever you want about Bieniemy. I think we all think he's going to do a better job than Nagy.
Sure.
And it sounds like Kelsey is probably coming back based on his commentary. So, yeah, I mean, I look at the rest of the conference, and I guess I'll throw it to you this way. Which team do you look at in the AFC going into the offseason here in a few weeks? Which team do you look at and say, that's the team furthest ahead of Kansas City? And whatever team that is, how far ahead of them are they?
That's a really good question. And obviously the Patriots just made the Super Bowl from the AFC, but I really don't feel like they are that far ahead, if they are even ahead of the Chiefs, really.
Right, which sounds like an insane homer take, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
Like, if the Chiefs played New England tomorrow and we're healthy, I'd be like, I don't know. Like, here's a serious, honest, as stupid and fucked up as this sounds. It's dead serious. If the Chiefs were completely healthy and played just their current roster, played the Pats tomorrow on a neutral site, what is the line for that game?
Pretty close to even.
Is Kansas City favored in it? Like, so it's like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. New England deserves all the credit in the world, but it's it's one of those things where you'll look at New England and go, do they deserve to be where they are? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Are they an overwhelming team? No.
Yeah.
They're not. Their offensive line stink. By the way, Jack Campbellton. My God, I mean, he's going to work. Like, their offensive line is not good. The weapons are okay. Like, Diggs is older but good. You know, I think Henderson's proven to be a good back. You know, Henry's a solid tight end. But they don't have, like, they're not like Chase and Higgins, you know? Like, they're not like a group where you go, oh, my God. Defensively, Christian Gonzalez is a stud. Good D tackles. But, like, it's like you look at them and they're the Legion of Boom. Like, it's like, they're all right. They're fine. I think New England's, in a normal year, they're a good team. In a normal year, they're probably a team to lose just in like the divisional round of the playoffs.
I think it's fair.
You know, I was just say maybe that's unfair, but that's how I feel about them.
And I don't think that like the Bengals are ahead of them, right? I think Joe Burrow, like maybe a healthy Joe Burrow, but like their defense still is dog water.
So bad, man. Yeah.
And they're not making any changes. And they said, yep, last year was, I guess, fine enough, good enough. Let's run that sucker back. The Bills are going to have a new head coach. The Ravens have a new head coach. Like those two
coordinator.
Yeah.
By the way, Zach Gore, I think, went to the Chargers. We said earlier, I think that's who replaced Minter.
That's right. Yep, you're right. So they kind of did like a little swap there. The Ravens or the Chargers did.
Don't know that I love that if I'm the Chargers. Have you seen the Ravens defense with a lot more talent than I think some people realize on it?
There's a reason that a lot of Ravens fans wanted a defensive-minded head coach because they wanted their defense to be better than it was. And a lot of the Ravens also wanted to keep Monken. Has it been officially announced where he's going yet? I know that he was like interviewing with some other places if he's going to stay.
I think he's going to be the Giants OC,
I think so too.
I don't know if it's official.
Yeah, but I know that he was still interviewing around with some other like head coaching jobs as well. Like if he put his name in the hat, maybe he becomes the Browns head coach. Maybe he'll be the only one that wants it.
That on him.
Yeah, sorry.
Next on Get Up is Todd Monken the answer. No,
but like that's the point though. Is like you look at the teams that have been usual suspects in
the standard in the
Chiefs, and they've got a lot of questions to answer. Even the Dolphins have a lot of questions to answer.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the Dolphins always have a lot of questions to answer, and they've yet to find any answers. No, like, and here's the other part of this, right? So, look, we'll get into this more as the months roll on or the weeks roll on, I guess. But like, the Bills are well over the cap threshold. Like, unlike Kansas City, they do not have a lot of easy outs. Houston is $14 million over the projected salary cap, and they have a few outs to like get themselves under the cap. Like Joe Mixon's probably going to get cut, a couple guys like that. But like, they're not going to be able to create a ton of cap space without some pretty significant moves. You know, Baltimore is $13 million in the black, almost $14 million. I'd say they do not have any easy outs either to make their lives a lot easier. Lamar Jackson, they could extend him. He's making $74.5 million against the cap this year. In fact, each of the next 2 years before he becomes a free agent. So they could extend him. But yeah, I mean, look, like Kansas City, ironically, is in the worst cap position of any team in the league based off of like projected cap space. Just 62 in the red. Ugh. But they can restructure like 45 of Mahomes' money.
They can get in the black pretty quick.
So if they restructured, you know, let's just say 40 million of Mahomes' contract. Now you're 22.3 over. You cut Jawan Taylor, you 2.3 over. You cut Dana and Tranquil. Now you're like 12 and change under. If they cut Noah Gray, you're 16 under. And And then listen, there's other things they could do too. Like they could restructure somebody. They could, I mean, there's other options here. But I mean, the Chiefs could very easily get to 25 to 30 million under the cap. I mean, that's not, a wild thing for them to do. It's going to be interesting to see what happens but to the overall point, man, I think there are real questions about all these teams. Like New England, can they repeat this?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. Now, to be fair to New England, they also have the most cap space of anything in football. So they also could add more pieces. The Bills, the obvious question is the coach and how do they make that roster better? Because they do not have cap space coming. Like, what are they going to do in free agency or trade? Obviously, we all know every team has a draft pick, draft picks. But, like, beyond that, like, what are they going to do? The Ravens, similarly, they decided to re-up Mark Andrews for 3 years. So they are tight against the cap. Isaiah Likely, whatever you make of him, he's gone. Okay. Like, they're going to lose Matabike, who knows what's happening with him with his neck injury, unfortunately.
Like, I forgot about that.
And, like, there becomes a real question, too, here. Lamar's 29 years old.
Mm-hmm.
At what point, with the way he plays, do you start having diminishing returns? I'm not saying he's just going to be garbage all of a sudden, but, like, at what point are you like, hey, man, he's not as effective running? And the other question is Derrick Henry. Like, he's not young, and he like, guys like that typically fall off a cliff when they fall off. Mm-hmm. So what do you have with him? Then you look at a team like Houston. Love the defense. What the hell do you make of CJ Stroud? I loved Stroud. Like everybody else did after his rookie year. He was bad this year. Like downright, flat out bad. Jacksonville, love what they're doing. But like Trevor Lawrence, like what is he? Is he just a guy? Because if he's just a guy, then like, yeah, they're good, but that's all they are. And then there's Denver. To be fair, like what the hell? Like Denver, pretty much everybody's coming back. Like it's pretty much the same damn team. Yeah, defensively, all those dudes are coming back. Outside, I think Alex Singleton's a free agent, and so is John Franklin Myers. Everybody else is back. Can they add enough offensively? Can they make Nix better than what he is? The Chargers, again, a ton of free agency money to play with if they want it. But, like, they have a lot of, like, it's just, let's put it this way. There are a lot of teams that are just like the Chiefs who have a lot of questions. The one advantage the Chiefs have over everybody else is the quarterback. Like, they know if they play, like, that's the thing, right? Like, Denver could make all the right moves, but if Bo Nix is Bo Nix, then, like, you have a ceiling. Yeah. The same is true of, like, Pittsburgh, or whoever, like Jacksonville. If Kansas City goes out and makes, like, 4 or 5 smart decisions this offseason, I'm not even saying massive ones, just smart ones. Like, hey, like, we got better in, like, 2 or 3 rooms. Look at who you have at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That team could instantly win 13, 14 games. But it's just a question of what do they do. The AFC is going to be fascinating. We went into this year thinking Chiefs, Bills, Ravens. Yeah. Only teams that matter. Didn't do shit, any of them. 2 of them missed the playoffs. 1 of them might as well have missed the playoffs. Like, you're going into next year, you're going to have a conference of like 10 different teams that pick to go to the Super Bowl. Who the hell knows? I don't know. It's fascinating.
And that's why the NFL is king. Like, that is why the parity is what makes the NFL so good and so enticing. I will say, I mean, for the fact that it went from Chiefs to Patriots in the AFC is kind of hilarious. That's funny. And for the lack of parity in that regard.
We all just thought about parity, and then it's like, oh, and by the way, no teams come out of the AFC in 87 years other than the Pats.
The Chiefs, yeah. Very funny in that regard, but I'm interested to see what the Chiefs do this offseason and how they attack free agency specifically. Obviously, that'll be the first thing that comes up, right? We'll be at the Combine here in probably about a month-ish, I guess. Talking to some guys, trying to see what the plan's going to be for the Chiefs and how they plan to attack free agency, because that's probably going to dictate a lot with what they do with the draft. Obviously, the draft is a lot more fun to talk about this year with the number 9 pick instead of the number 32 pick, because you can only pick 8, like only 8 players will go, and then you have your pick of the litter at number 9. At that point, there could be some pretty dynamic players on the board at that point, some pretty good football players for the Chiefs to have their have their pick from. So I think that the free agency is going to be really interesting because we will be kind of be able to see where they're leaning when it comes to where they want to do their first round pick with how they approach their free agency to get better.
And also too, let's keep in mind, like they got to get into the cap first. So like we're not. Like,
that's a good point. Yeah,
February. Like we're going to be getting like when we're at the combine, and we're working hard at Prime 47, running up an ungodly tab on Miller.
That's a good point.
I Matt Miller, if you're watching, get ready. But I'm going to weasel my way to that table. But anyway, listen, the point being, they're going to have to. I mean, we just talked about their cap situation. They got to get into the cap. They got to do all that stuff first. And then also, too, look, other teams also have to do that. So you're going to be seeing guys getting cut, guys hitting the market. Some of those guys are immediately free agents. So, like, you can even make a play, early on. Like,
it's true.
For years and years and years, we've looked at the Chiefs and basically had an offseason of who do you think the fourth receiver is on this team? Like, this is going to be a lot different this offseason, which is exciting. It's intriguing. I can tell you from talking to people in the building, there's a certain amount of energy just based off the fact that there is something at stake here. Like, yeah. And of course, every year they're trying to win the Super Bowl, but I just mean for years, it's almost like they've been locked into most of what was going to happen. Then it was like, okay, well, and then, okay, we'll get to the draft and whoever's there. This year, I mean, you would have to imagine they're going to create some cap space and they're going to be fairly aggressive. The last couple of years have been all about Trey Smith and Chris Jones and internal guys. This is not going to be that. This offseason is not going to be about Leo Chenal. Like, this is going to be who do they bring in? Who do they leave behind? What do they do in terms of, adding in free agency, to your point, before the draft? Like, what does that all look like? Because they have a lot of work to do. But again, what's also intriguing on the outside is so do all these other teams.
Yeah.
So, the AFC is going to look wildly different than it's looked in the recent past.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing to have a little bit of a refresh here as we look forward to a Seahawks-Patriots Super Bowl rematch in San Francisco. In a couple weeks, Matt and I will be out there in San Francisco. Matt will be at the game. We'll be recording a couple pods out there and obviously getting you guys, we'll be setting the scene for Super Bowl 60. Super Bowl 50 and Super Bowl 60 being in San Francisco. I don't know what bills that they had to pay, what check they had to slide to the NFL to get both of those Super Bowls, but not nothing for both of those to be out there in San Francisco. It'll be my first time in California, man. Can you believe that? First time out there in Cali.
Yeah. This is my fourth trip to California. I've been out. This is my third one to San Francisco, and I was out in LA. Next year I'll be back out in LA for the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Provided I don't get like hit by a car or something. Which is possible. But I've got to watch out for those Kias. Could get me. But
especially Sorrentos, man.
Yeah, those things. They got a life of their own. Some producer for Get Up driving it. But
I'll go to
can't stay awake at 11 a.m. He's been up for 12 hours. Trying to do the white balancing.
Right. Just on the brooch.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was blinded by. I drove home like Ray Charles at rush hour. So in any event, he understands the joke. But like it's, it's third time San Francisco. Fun city. I'm looking forward to getting some really good dinners. And I don't know what day the Super Bowl party is for the media this year. I'll have to look into that.
I can't remember. I have to. It was a good time. Look, it was a good time in New Orleans. New Orleans was a good media Super Bowl party.
I skipped right over it. My wife's
test.
So, but yeah. What day was it last year? Do you remember?
I think it was Wednesday.
Okay. Oh my God, just land and go right to the media party.
Land and just get
here we go
hammered. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna land on Wednesday and then wake up like Sunday.
Wake up the day.
So I was gonna be, why do we send him? And they got to call my boss. Is it game day yet?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, any of it. Now, looking for, listen, you know what? Interesting game. A lot of storylines. Should be fun. Obviously, we'll be doing a podcast live from down there. Mm-hmm. And never know, could get a random, 2 a.m. flash pod from the Super Bowl media party, which if that happens, just don't tune in.
We'll be interviewing everybody from Get Up. We're going to find every person from Get Up to talk to them. Hey, guy, why your show fucking suck? Did you guys ever think about making a good show? That'll be the podcast.
What are the odds that one of those guys is out and about at 1 a.m. considering call time for the show is like 1:30 a.m.?
That's a great point. I mean, they probably can't go out anywhere.
No.
The requirements, you can't have a wife or kids, though, either, because you can't have a life outside of that show, I think.
It's
unfortunate.
I could do a 30 for 30 documentary on all my thoughts on Gap, which is now taking the brunt of my ire because it basically Get Up is just a symbol for everything that's wrong with the way sports is covered.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. Like I mean, I could sit here and certainly say First Take. That's also true. First Take, you could argue just ruins sports commentary in general. With Stephen A. and Skip Bayless. Listen, the best thing that's ever happened on television is when Jalen Rose absolutely eviscerated Skip Bayless as a human being on live television by just reciting that he was a scrub in high school basketball. I remember watching that live as it was unfolding and was just blown away by what was going on.
Yeah, that one was pretty good.
Pride.
What was the show before? There was a show before First Take that kind of led to the dawn of First Take, and I cannot remember what. Yes, it was Cold Pizza. That's 100% what I was thinking of as I looked.
Cold Pizza was weird. It was like a mix of a million things. It was like a fashion thing. Like they have people on food. It was basically like Good Morning America for sports.
Huh.
And then they realized the only thing that mattered was these idiots debating each other on television. And initially it was Stephen A. and Skip Bayless, these are two respected columnists. Let's see what they have to say. And then Skip Bayless was just setting a Dak Prescott jersey ablaze on television. You're like, okay, I've seen enough. And yeah, somehow I can honestly not watch the show very often, but was watching when Jalen Rose just lit him up like a Christmas tree on TV. And then they had an entire separate show the following day for the two of them to talk it out like they were at a psychiatrist's office.
Right.
It was like couples therapy. It was great. And then TV's just gone downhill. And now we just get Skip's not on TV anymore. So now he just tweets out a video of himself throwing out a Javonte Williams jersey in an empty trash bag in his all white kitchen. And he just throws it in there. He walks away in his Air Force Ones with his head down. Who is the audience for this?
Yeah, I don't know.
But then who's the audience for Get Up? And that's still on TV.
That's a great point. So somehow the you ever notice those ratings thing? I don't want to be too big of a conspiracy theorist here, but you ever see the ratings this is the best month ever for Get Up, and she's how? What? How many gyms had that on in the morning? How many doctors had that on? This? Yeah, you might have a lot of TVs on, but I don't know if anyone's actually watching it.
Yeah, I mean, I have so many questions. But it's I'm trying to find the. Okay, so I searched Get Up ratings.
Yeah.
And I have not found reliable answers to this.
Sure.
The fourth link on Google is from Reddit ESPN, and the title is Get Up the worst show ever made? My God, even in the background, it makes me mad hearing it.
Yeah.
And there's 1.6 million likes and 486 comments.
I don't understand.
It makes me just wonder, with the endless amount of resources at ESPN. That's what they're like. Listen. We could produce anything we want. How do we feel about Rex Ryan at 6 a.m.? How do we feel about that? I mean, is that the best we can do? Well, I don't know if it's the best we can do, but it's the easiest fucking thing we can do. Yeah, let's do that. And then let's every once in a while, let's bring on Will Compton. Oh, who the hell's that? I don't know. He played for the Titans once. Okay, yeah, bring him in. You know, it's like,
yeah.
How the hell, like, who came up with this?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's all I've got about that's my weekly rant on Get Up.
I think, yeah, you got to get it off your chest, right? Because it is just a horrible program. And like, apparently everybody else thinks that too, right? Because people are asking, people are wondering. This makes me think of, like, when I think about Get Up and all, like, daytime ESPN programming that used to be really good, like Sports Center, right? And to just actually play highlights of games. Like, that's when things were good, where you just, like,
yes,
turn it on and watch the highlights. This makes me think of the quote from Spy Kids. The fact that this quote is from Spy Kids is kind of insane. Spy Kids, I think 2 to be exact. Steve Buscemi says, do you think God stays in heaven because he too is in fear what he's created here on earth? And I think that might be why God... Yeah, for Spy Kids too? Yeah. Maybe God stays in heaven because he's feared what he's created in Get Up. Maybe Get Up keeps God in heaven.
If Get Up were to come off, Jesus would come back.
Right, I think so. I think
that's what's keeping, it's what's keeping Christ at bay. It's fair. It's fair. There's your Monday morning headline. Is Get Up the Antichrist? I remember as a kid watching SportsCenter every morning before I went to school, and it was, to keep the religious thing, like the Bible. I watched that every morning, highlights, Stuart Scott, Dan Patrick, everybody, right? Like, go on and on and on. And I remember, like, in the sports centers, they would have, like, little segments with, like, Sal Palantonio, and then they'd go to, like, Diamond Notes with either Peter Gammons or Tim Kirchin. Mm-hmm. Diamond Notes was like 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes long, and it was really insightful. If they ran Diamond Notes now, it would be easily the best thing they've run in about a decade, and it's 2 minutes long.
Yeah, they don't do baseball anymore, basically.
No. It's the hockey is they have wall-to-wall hockey on ESPN Plus. I think they don't exist. There's like 5 NFL teams they know exist. The only thing is, and the shame of it, man, is like when ESPN really wants to do something good, like E60 or 30 for 30, they can do incredible stuff. They're just too lazy to do anything consistently that's good. Like, their in-game coverage, for the most part, fine. Yep. Fucking Aikman do a good job. Like, their college stuff, it's good. But, man, when you start getting, like, they got rid of Around the Horn. It's like, okay, you know what, I liked Around the Horn, but they just, I don't know. I go on for an hour about that. Like, they murdered what was, at one point, a network that was must-see TV if you were a sports fan. Mm-hmm. And it has now turned into just one person yelling at another person and like a 90-second viral clip of Mike Greenberg at 5:18 a.m. Eastern Standard Time being like, I'll tell you what, Josh Allen, last Sunday, best game I ever saw. And you're like, Mike, it's June. Yeah. It's June, Mike. He didn't play last Sunday. Like, I must have been watching a replay, and I don't know. Like, right, that's where we are.
It really is. It is where we are.
We've gone off the rails. This has nothing to do with anything, but it is what it is.
No, I think we had to get it out of our system. We'd gone long enough without talking about Get Up.
And granted, we talked about it in the last show, but we had Dave's
show. Yes. Yeah. I think it's going to do it. Matt, if you don't have anything else, I'll go ahead and wrap it up.
No, that's good. We can wrap it. But you ever see the documentary, old but like famous, Super Size Me? The guy with the McDonald's. I feel like you have the same physical and emotional consequences as you watch Get Up every day for 365 days.
Instead of, maybe that's what I need to do, is I need to do a YouTube video for the KCSN channel of like, I decided I was going to watch Get Up for a month straight. and see how it changes me.
By the third week, you're just drinking like Heineken at 5 a.m. and chain smoking.
Right. I just become a complete degenerate. I'm playing Rain Bet on my phone anytime.
So it's just singing Freebird at like 4 a.m. It's the only way you can motivate yourself to get out of bed. You know? Yeah. Tara won't even speak to you anymore.
Right. No, it just completely destroys my whole life. Yeah, that'd be a good video.
I've been bathed in like 11 days. I mean, what if I miss what Rex Ryan thinks about the Jets in their offseason?
I kept having to think about how Josh Allen playing in this playoffs affects LeBron's legacy. I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Who's the better player? Is it Tiger Woods, Serena, or LeBron?
Do you remember when
hockey?
Yeah, Fred, do you remember when Alex Ovechkin scored that record-setting goal and they had a conversation of like who had a better career, LeBron or Alex Ovechkin?
I don't, thank God, but
that was first take, and then they put PK Subban on the panel to argue with Stephen A. on that.
Good.
One. So
really, like here's one of the greatest records in sports, right? Yeah. And they were like, look, we can't talk about it intelligently. So what if we just got Stephen A., who I'm fairly confident has not watched many hockey games over the last 20 years?
Correct.
Based on the fact that they never talk about hockey. Right. I'm thinking he's probably not the best guy to have on. Like, no. You pay Mark Messier, like maybe have him come on. No.
Pretty good hockey player. Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah. Like played with Wayne Gretzky for most of those goals. Like, nah, it's all right. Let's get Stephen A. Smith to cross compare LeBron and Alex Ovechkin.
Crazy.
I need to drink.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it.
Yeah, I think that's going to do it for this episode of That Football Show. Hopefully you get your Monday started off on the right note. Before we get out here, I want to thank everybody for the kind words. Tweeted out the obituary for my grandfather. Thank you guys for all the kind words and that. We appreciate all the thoughts and prayers as well. But I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who left a comment on Twitter, said something on Instagram, replied on anything. So I do appreciate all of that as we are going through that. But we will be back on Friday with a brand new episode talking. Well, who the hell knows what we're going to talk about, man? Because we got to talk about the Super Bowl for another.
Yeah, Super Bowl. Get up. Yeah,
yeah,
that much. That's coming up.
That will be there. You can stay locked in.
Yeah, I'm just going to follow that account, and then that way I'll see what the worst take is, and then I'll report back Friday.
I think that's perfect. I think that's a great way to do it. It's just going to be called
Get Lost.
Get Lost. Perfect.
We'll put it at the end so if people hate it, they don't have to listen to it. But if they do like it, then it's like an earned little win at the end.
It's like, all right, Matt, you want to get lost? And then we talk about the really bad take. Yeah, I like that. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you to our partners, Ben Holiday, Bottled and Bond Bourbon, Holiday Distillery, for getting us through everything. We appreciate it. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave us a 5-star rating and review, and we will talk to you on Friday.